Okay, Manning Yard Haunt. Shadow of Palm Cemetery, take 43. Get it right this time, freak.
Okay, is this thing on? Are we rolling? Welcome to Shadow of Palm Cemetery, the Manning Yard Haunt.
Cut. That's a wrap.
Alright, good one. I still get paid, right? I mean, you would stiff me, right?
Okay, what I'm going to show you today is how to make PVC candles. Now there's tons of tutorials for this out on the web already, but you're here so I might as well watch this one. For it, what we'll need is some PVC. I use 1.5 inch because it's almost the perfect size for a tea light to go in, and that's what I'm going to use for mine, are electric tea lights. I've got this I borrowed from my wife to get the sizing correct. Also, you'll need some of this pipe foam, pipe insulation foam. I'm using, I think it's 5/8 inch, and then I've cut a little bit out along the edge here so that it folds up a little bit smaller so that it can fit inside the PVC. Usually I twist it to get it to go inside. Then I take the PVC, of course, glue sticks, a glue gun, and some off-white paint. This is called Heirloom White. I was torn between whether to use satin or glossy. I decided to use the satin, so we'll see how that works. Now what I do with the PVC is I take a long strip of PVC, usually a 10-foot section, and I cut it at an angle, and I cut it straight, and I cut it at an angle again. By doing that, I wind up with two sections when you cut it, so it has this section here on each side, but then a flat side for it to stand up properly like that. So it looks like it's melted when we do the hot wax around here and the drips. Now, what I do then after I cut it is I put the insulation foam on the inside, and I do that, like I said, I cut this out very carefully, not to cut myself, and then it just sticks in there, and then I twist it as I put it in, and I push it all the way up, and then I pull it back a bit. Then when I get it to the right height, I cut this off with my X-Acto knife very carefully so that it's flat with the bottom, as you can see here on this one. Nice and flat. The reason I do that is because then when the tea light goes in, it just sits there very comfortably. It doesn't fall all the way to the bottom. It's a perfect spot. Okay?
Okay, as I mentioned before, I'm just going to do a little description here. I cut out a little piece of the foam and work it into the PVC. I usually extend it a little bit through and then put the tea light on, so then I can pull it back down so I get the tea light placement exactly where I want it. Just take my time, pull it down and get it exactly where I want it to be. Then once I get it into place, I just remove the tea light and cut the foam, the excess foam, with my X-Acto knife, being careful not to cut myself. Did that last year and that really sucked. Okay, and once I cut that off with the X-Acto knife, you can see I've got a nice flat surface so I can stand it up. Let's take a closer look. In the section there I can put the tea light in, so it'll stand up pretty nice. Then I take the hot glue gun. Now here I'm gluing on the inside where the tea light's going to go. I just did around the rim. I did that for the first couple and then I stopped doing it because I thought it would help hold it into place, but really it fits pretty tight, so it's really not necessary. Now I'm going around the top, and you just want to make that nice and thick so it sort of looks like melted wax. And after you go all the way around the top, then you just run down each side, as I will in a second. Now I'm doing a couple coats there to make it look nice and thick like melted wax. Now I'm just running it down the side, stopping every once in a while to get little bulges there so it looks like melted wax. And then I turn and I go around each section and just go all the way around. It takes a little bit of time, and you want to make sure that you go all the way around the entire PVC, all the way around, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Just take your time.
Okay, I just finished 9 of them. Didn't take very long, about 5 minutes each. Used about, depending on the the height of them. The smaller ones took about one of these, one glue stick. The longer ones took about 1.5. So now I'm just going to let them dry, and then we'll paint them and see how they come out. Okay, here's the finished product after they're painted. Now I'll be able to use them in different things. What I'll probably do is the smaller ones I'll put on top of skulls. I'm going to make a skull chandelier, and I'll glue those on top of the skull, and then I'll use some more hot glue to make it look like the wax is melding over the skull. And the other ones I'll use in other ways. But that's the finished product. Hope it works out for you. Thanks.